The story of Saint Teresa of Avila. Saint Teresa of Avila, also known as Teresa of Jesus, was born on March 28, 1515, in the Spanish town of Avila. She was a remarkable mystic, reformer, and one of the greatest spiritual teachers in the history of the Catholic Church. Her deep spirituality, mystical visions, and relentless reform of the Carmelite order made her one of the first women to be named a doctor of the Church. Teresa was born into a large and devout family. Her father, Alonso de Cepeda, and her mother, Beatriz de Ahumada, were deeply religious and instilled the Catholic faith in their children. From an early age, Teresa was drawn to prayer and spiritual reflection. As a child, she was known for her vivid imagination and desire for martyrdom, once famously running away with her brother to seek martyrdom in the land of the Moors. Although their plan was short-lived, it reflected her early passion for a life devoted to God. After her mother's death when Teresa was 14, she turned to the Virgin Mary for comfort and guidance. At 20, despite initial resistance, Teresa joined the Carmelite convent of the Incarnation in Avila, where she began her religious life. Her entry into the convent, however, marked a period of spiritual struggle and physical suffering. Teresa's early years as a nun were marked by a struggle between her desire for God and the distractions of convent life. The Carmelite convents at that time were lax, allowing for social visits and indulgences that often took the focus away from prayer and contemplation. Teresa herself fell into a pattern of lukewarm devotion, feeling spiritually unfulfilled despite her desire to grow closer to God. In 1537, she experienced a major health crisis, falling gravely ill and spending nearly 3 years bedridden. Her illness brought her face to face with her mortality, and she began to understand the importance of a more disciplined, prayerful life. Still, Teresa would later admit that for nearly 20 years she struggled to maintain a consistent spiritual practice. Teresa's conversion took place in her early 40s, after a profound experience in prayer before a statue of Christ. This moment rekindled her commitment to God, and she resolved to lead a life of greater purity, prayer, and discipline. She began to experience mystical visions and profound moments of spiritual ecstasy, which she would later describe in her writings. Saint Teresa's mystical visions became a hallmark of her spiritual life. She described them as intimate encounters with God, moments where she felt an overwhelming sense of divine love and presence. These experiences, though often misunderstood by others, strengthened her resolve to live a life entirely devoted to Christ. In her most famous vision, she saw an angel pierce her heart with a golden lance, leaving her with an intense and burning love for God. This moment, known as the transfiguration of the heart, became symbolic of her deep, mystical union with Christ. Teresa's mystical experiences inspired her to write several spiritual classics, including The Interior Castle and The Way of Perfection. These works delve into the stages of spiritual growth and offer practical guidance for a deeper relationship with God through prayer and contemplation. Her writings reflect her belief that the soul is like a castle, with many rooms, and that through prayer, one can journey deeper into the presence of God. As her spiritual life deepened, Teresa became increasingly dissatisfied with the laxity in many Carmelite convents, where worldly distractions often interfered with the contemplative life. She felt called by God to reform the Carmelite order, returning it to its original focus on poverty, prayer, and simplicity. With great courage and persistence, she founded the Descalced Carmelites in 1562, a reformed branch of the Carmelite order that embraced a strict, contemplative lifestyle. Her reforms met with strong resistance from both within the order and from external authorities, but Teresa's unwavering determination eventually led to the establishment of 17 convents throughout Spain. In her reform efforts, Teresa partnered with another great mystic and saint, Saint John of the Cross, who helped reform the male branch of the Carmelites. Together, they sought to renew the spiritual vigor of the Carmelite order, emphasizing the importance of silence, solitude, and prayer. Saint Teresa of Avila's influence extended far beyond her lifetime. Her mystical writings and reforms had a profound impact on the Catholic Church, and her teachings on prayer continue to guide countless souls seeking a deeper relationship with God. Her personal experiences of God's love and her method of contemplative prayer became a model for future generations of Christians. Teresa died on October 4, 1582, in Alba de Tormes, Spain. Her final words were, "My Lord, it is time to move on. Well then, may your will be done. O my Lord and my spouse, the hour that I have longed for has come." She was canonized by Pope Gregory XV in 1622 and later declared a Doctor of the Church by Pope Paul VI in 1970, the first woman to be given this title, in recognition of her profound theological contributions. Saint Teresa of Avila's legacy lies in her emphasis on personal prayer, contemplation, and the transformative power of God's love. Her interior castle metaphor continues to be a powerful symbol of the spiritual journey, showing that the path to union with God is one of gradual and intentional inner growth. Saint Teresa's feast day is celebrated on October 15th, and she remains a beloved saint, known for her warmth, wit, and passionate love for God. She is the patron saint of Spain, religious orders, and people who suffer from headaches and illnesses. Her life serves as a testament to the power of prayer, perseverance, and the pursuit of a life entirely centered on God. Through her reforms, writings, and spiritual guidance, Saint Teresa continues to inspire people to seek a deeper, more intimate relationship with Christ.